Any user can export their own schema. A user with the roles export full database and import full database roles can also export the full database as well as somebody else's schema. It's important not to use as sysdba when you run your data pump job. It has some restrictions on the use of parallel DML, and in addition, it had in some situation as sysdba can circumvent some internal consistency checks that are important. If you want to export scheduler jobs that are stored in sys schema, you can look at the method in the Oracle support note, how to exclude scheduler job from data pump export. Now, while it describes a way to exclude them, you can also use the opposite approach and include them in a full database export. And finally, in addition to setting roles to export a full database, you must also set the table space quota to unlimited to allow for sufficient space for a control table that is created and written to by the control process as well as all the workers. Next, you need a directory to store the log file and optional trace files, even if you do a network mode import. Remember that data pump runs server-side, so the directory should exist on the database host. Now you can find more details about this in the Oracle support note, export-import, data pump parameter directory, how to specify a directory. Another use case for the directory is for storing SQL file. Now this is a file that's generated if you use the SQL file option on import to record the DDL created by data pump for the import job. Also, data pump uses advanced queuing to communicate between processes, and advanced queuing needs a streams pool. Size in the range of 64 meg to 256 meg is usually reasonable for this purpose. You also need to decide on a processing mode for your export or import. The default and recommended value is schema. It allows you to choose the schemas of interest, and when migrating to an autonomous database target, this is also the method that is required. Now, full can be used for migrating all data, but despite the name, there are some schemas that are never exported, even in a full export or import, and sys is an example of that. When you run the export or import client, there are a couple of ways to specify parameters for the job. Now you can always specify them on the command line, but we recommend using a parameter file. The example on the slide uses a par file parameter to specify export.par. This contains all the parameters for that particular export job. Now, why use a parameter file? Well, first of all, it avoids errors that can come from typing long, complex data pump commands, especially when your target is a cloud target and you need to specify a credential and a URI to the object store. So it's better to put that information into a par file. Also, getting escape characters correct can be challenging, especially when you must escape an escape character. So, and I guess a final reason would be, imagine using transportable table spaces where you have to specify multiple data files. It's just easy to put all those data files in a par file and not having to type them on the command line.